Welcome to Cuba, February 2017. This is the island, about 755 miles long by 50 miles wide, about the size of the state of Pennsylvania. A great place, and if you look under the sea, that's the area that we traveled. Camagüey Province and the city of Camagüey. This is the airport where we got off the plane. We were walking into the building, into the terminal, to go through customs. Quite an experience in itself, for sure, but all went well, and we're grateful for that. A little trip around the city of Camagüey now, and sitting in the front seat of our bus. This is not a busy time of day, but you'll see quite a variety of vehicles here in these few seconds that we watch this little video of the horses and the old cars and the wagons and the carts and a few people along the street. This is the vehicle we traveled in. This is the back. It's quite a machine. 10 of us in there, knee to knee. As I mentioned, 500 miles going down the road. We got to know one another very well, for sure. Anyway, when we arrived, we put all of our things we brought to share on a bed and on a dresser, and we took some time. We sorted them all out, put them into several bags, and each one of the pastors of the churches we visited got a bag of various items you see there, flannel graphs and pencils and shoes and all sorts of things. Here's the front of the vehicle we traveled in. It's a 1961 Chevrolet 2-ton truck. These are our two leaders. On the left is Don, on the right is Samuel. Don is from the north. Samuel is from Cuba. He's a pastor, and he makes all the arrangements for us, an interpreter, and just a godly man who helps out so much. The town of Florida, Cuba. Just a little view of what you'll see in that place on a non-busy Saturday morning in a street corner. Nothing like Ocala, for sure. Across the road on the one corner, there's a local church, and here comes a daughter Maggie and our friend from Canada, Chris, who traveled with us. This is the outside of a local church that we visited, and it's quite the place for sure. A little beat up, but that's not uncommon for many of the churches in Cuba. But people who truly love the Lord and serve the Lord and were concerned about those who did not yet come to salvation. Inside of another church, and here's a group. Wonderful family of God, and this is where we worshiped on Sunday morning, and it was a wonderful experience for us to be able to sing and worship with these folks. Wonderful family of God. They sang unto the Lord, and it so blessed our hearts. Got to know these folks a little bit as well. Sitting in the very front row for 2 hours, this little family here. Aren't they beautiful people? Absolutely. And to the left, this lady's a doctor. She plays the electric piano for us, and a wonderful woman of God as well. This is the new church that's under construction. 12 years from now or thereabouts, you should be able to complete it. It takes a long time when you make $30 or less a month. Backyard of another church. See the fruit growing there, and all of us gathered along with the pastor and his family there to the left that you see. And here we gather behind the church. We're sitting down with the pastor on the right. He's telling us his story, what the needs are of his church, the situation in which he ministers, and we take notes. And we sit down together with the pastor not there. What can we do to help these folks out? Here's another group with another pastor on the right, hearing his story, telling us about his church, the trials and tribulations and blessings. What can we do to help you? Construction or reconstruction or helping with something new in the church building itself. And here's a pastor, another pastor, and we went through the process, and money was given to him, usually in the company of a church leader beside the pastor. It's counted out, it's accounted for, signed paper, this is what they received. Again, another pastor we're meeting with, hearing their stories and what their vision is for the church and what they're doing now and what their needs might be. And so we sit down and we visit many hours spent with local pastors and church leaders. Well, after all that, it's time to eat. Here's a little booth store along the way. Fresh meat, absolutely. And I'm not sure if this lady is holding her nose or just kind of scratching her nose or what. You choose, all right? And now we're sitting down to eat. This is all of us around a table. We ate very well, ate a little differently. But certainly there was always more than enough to eat. This is what one of the plates looked like in a different church. But before I show you that, this is a roast pig they brought in one day. As they were preparing to feed us, in comes a pig right through the living room, in past and out in the back, and they cut it up and we ate it. There it is. Nothing will be wasted, not even a little bit, including the oink, as somebody said. Beautiful pork roast dinner. Here's another dinner plate that we had somewhere. This was along the coast, and so you see here a little bit of fish, and actually those are little shrimp. I never had shrimp in Cuba before. And fried bananas and rice. There's always rice and beans. I don't see any beans in that pile, but wonderful time. Here's daughter Maggie talking with a lady behind the church, a Christian lady. She is a doctor. She is a pediatrician in Cuba. And many of those who are well educated speak a little bit of English, and so Maggie was able to communicate with her, and that was a blessing to them both, I'm sure. The church at El Brazo. I've got a background of this church. I was here 15 years ago. Same pastor, same wife, and they remembered me, which really surprised me. And certainly I recognize them a little grayer, perhaps, on both sides, but a wonderful couple. This is the parsonage. 15 years ago, the parsonage was made out of wood. The bottom of the boards on the outside of the house were so rotten, chickens freely walked in and out of the parsonage where they lived. We left a donation. They rebuilt it, and this is what you see today. Inside, look at this. They have a real stove compared to what they had before. 2 burners and a propane tank, and now they're able to cook. And the laundry, complete with, we don't do it quite that way anymore, do we? And we are thankful. But they do, and this couple indeed is thankful that they're not using an old scrub board. Looking out the back door, what do we see? Well, they have chickens and they have Miss Piggy, so there will be eggs and there will be pork chops sometime down the road. Nice looking rooster and a pig all tied up. This is the baptistry at the church. They preach the gospel. People come to know the faith, come to know faith in Christ, and they are baptized, and they are ready for them as well. Baptistry is there. It's an important part of following the Christ. So here we are, Maggie, and she's playing with the local kids, having a good time. They don't speak English. She don't speak Spanish, but a great time had by all. Well, it's about the end, and here's an old tractor heading out as we are about ready to head out as well. We're ready to head north. It's been a good week. Pray for Cuba. That's what they've asked us to do. We've met so many fine pastors and people in congregations, lots of needs, but God is at work in Cuba. So would you join me, please, and pray for Cuba? Thank you.